Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm with Freddie from Battlefront today at
Hello.
the Flames of War Open Day. So thanks for inviting us down to check out all of the new releases.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, what have we got going on today?
Well, we've got what's happening is, we're all about 15mm basically, because 15mm is small enough to get loads of stuff on the table because you want big fights and loads of toys, but they're large enough to get detail on the models, which you'll see when we open up the box. So the reason it's hit the beach is because we're revisiting late war, and we thought what better place to start than with the D-Day invasion. So we've got we've got two starter sets. One is the little tanks. It's a small box.
This is a two-player starter set.
It's called Fury, and it's got 4 or 5 tanks in it, which we'll show in a bit. And then we've got the larger box set, which is Hit the Beach. If I spin this round and show you the back, we'll give you probably like a close-up in a minute. But
it's my fault for putting this.
Oh,
box
the lid's
back
on the
together.
other way round.
I put it on, in the reverse. That's showing everything that's in the Hit the
that's
Beach
everything
set,
that's in that box.
which is quite a large amount of stuff that barely fits on my second camera. But you can see there's a hell of a lot of stuff in that box.
And then we've got, it's got some really, I think we're going that way. We've got that cover art.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Is
artwork,
just,
isn't it?
I don't know whether we can get that under there.
We can, yeah. Nice wide angle camera. Though.
Yeah, it's just, it's iconic. But I'm itching to get the box open because it's got plastic in it.
Yeah,
Loads
actually,
of it.
I'm really impressed with considering these are such small units. The quality of the sculpts.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with this. So, let's not waste any more time. Let's have a look at what you get inside this stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get that off and have a quick that new plastic component smell. So first off, because it's a starter set. So if you are an existing gamer, welcome back. If you're an existing gamer, but if you're new, if you're a newbie. We've got a really easy, simple, easy to follow guide here that explains how everything's put together. It will show you how many men on a particular base for a command unit or a support weapons unit, and you'll notice that there's some little letters above each of the minis. When we go to the sprues, which I think Rich is going to show you now. We've been really clever so that you've now got letters on those models. So it will show you which models you need to clip off of that sprue to make that particular unit. So you need absolutely no previous modelling experience or knowledge of World War II or how units are constructed. It's all on that sheet.
So what I like about this is this really is a starter set. It really, really is a starter set. You've got absolutely everything you need to take you from I don't even know how to play this game to building everything and getting it on the table.
Yeah.
And Freddie was showing me the sort of quick build guide that comes with this set earlier. And what I'm really impressed with, as you just alluded to, is how everything is coded with letters.
Yeah.
So because this is such a small scale, well, it's not a small scale game, it's a huge scale game.
Yeah, but the miniatures
small.
are so small.
What I want to show you here is the bases, because this is my first time I've seen these. It's got a victory going on at one of the tables across the way. The bases for these being really small, I hadn't seen anything like this for a very long time, and I'm really impressed with how these slot into the bases. So each one of the units is on a small disc, and as you can see, these bases have these little recessed discs into. Now, the actual booklet itself that comes with these, which is what really impressed me, shows you, almost IKEA style, how the units slot into the bases, so you get the correct facing of them as well. So when you take these off of the sprue, they fit perfectly into the little bases that we've got.
It even shows you the plugs. We've got a little part of the sprues have got little what we call a plug, which is a little round disc which will fit into that base, because some of them on the smaller command base, which is they will hold up to 3 figures. Sometimes you don't need all 3 figures, so you've got a little plug so that you drop that in and glue it, and it blocks off that small hole just to make the base look a bit better. If you're not going to put any flocking or texturing on the base,
well, it'll stop you having a really weird, uneven flocking texture, which is cool. So I love how the manual tells you to put these units together. It's obviously the tanks are just as simple too. You've got the instructions for the tanks. But yeah, this box comes with absolutely tons of units. It comes with dice. Obviously, everyone likes dice. It comes with your reference cards for each one of your units as well. Everyone loves their reference cards.
And the vehicles, as Rich has showed you, that the vehicles have got so the American vehicles are green. They're green.
Yep.
The German Panzer IVs are yellow. So you can, within minutes of gluing this stuff together, you don't need to be painting. You can just glue them together, put them on the table, as is.
So let's say we're buddies and we go twos on a box. I go, right, all right, Freddie, we're going to share this box. Here you go. There's yours.
There's my plastics.
Yep, here's my plastics. Units, not quite as simple.
Yeah.
But in general, we've already divvied the box up quite well. That's going to be your force, this is going to be my force, and then we just build these together because we're bros.
Yeah. And then you can, once you've played a couple of games, you can swap sides.
Yeah.
But you've got enough in that box. If you and a buddy want to spend 15 quid each, you go down, you buy that base box.
Yeah, that's worth mentioning. This starter box, which is going to get you enough to go through a good couple of hours of play, at least.
To actually learn how to use them, it's going to take you probably 4 or 5 battles before you even learn how to use this stuff effectively.
And the manual.
As
well, which is obviously full colour, fully illustrated, contains all of the cards as well, and the campaign.
But to get you, while we're on about rules, to get you going quickly, we've got this little...
the quick start.
This little quick start. So it's just the core rules, and it'll give you an overview to begin with here, which basically outlines how a turn is played.
Yep, with example troops.
Yep. So we've got movement here. We've got moving, shooting, and it opens out in a big long, almost like a Bayeux tapestry, almost, or the Normandy tapestry. You can follow it. That will take about 10 minutes to read. There's the other side.
And that will take you. That's a quick start guide,
Yeah.
which is a very thorough quick start guide.
I mean, as we've got here, as you can see that we've got the one of the unit cards. If I split that deck of unit cards here, in fact, we can go. Yeah, there's a rifle platoon. So it's giving you the stats. The instructions have grayed out the bit that you don't need. So the bit that when it's talking about shooting, it'll put that line on in colour. You can follow it on the card and to play, so that you're not sitting there with your head in a manual while you're playing.
Yeah.
Because it's all about the lemonade and pretzels kind of game, lemonade and pizza. So the idea is because you want to be interacting with each other, so you line these cards up either side of the table.
Yeah.
And as you're using stuff, you can just pick up the card. Everything you need's on there.
Yeah.
You already know how to use it because of that quick start guide.
Yeah.
And after several games, you're ready to go into the rule book.
Yeah,
because
so you only really go into the rule book just to check the finer points then, because you've got all your stat lines on the card.
I mean, they do go in a little bit more detail.
So, if you want more information on the terrain and the terrain chart.
Like a command unit, initially, you'll just be removing them when they've been shot at and they've failed. But in the actual rule book, it then explains in detail how you keep them on the table by swapping them with other units. But that's once you're up and running. So you're not wading through a big, thick tome of rules and getting put off. You just use that little sheet.
So I grab this, we get our units on the table, and we go from... Where's the start? The start is your
movement.
Rules. So your shooting phases, you're shooting at tanks.
Yep, shooting at infantry.
So this, you can go through a full game with that. That's cool. It's a very, very nice illustrated, and also what I like here is it's referring to the cards, so it's going to get you used to using these cards. As well. So the whole quick start guide refers to that. That's ace. Obviously you've got your dice, you've got your bases, you've got all the sprues you need for this starter set. In terms of scale, if somebody was going from playing with the starter set, it's obviously not a full-scale army.
Yeah.
They never are.
Yeah.
A second starter set would be enough to flesh it out. A third
Yeah,
starter
it would.
set. What are we looking at?
But you could flesh it out with a second starter set, or you can either buy individual platoon boxes. We've got in the cards.
Which actually brings us on to the way you would
Yeah,
build.
there we go. We've got them on the cards, but probably you can use the book.
Yeah.
We've got diagrams that show you how a force is built. So let's take, for argument's sake, the Germans. We've got a couple of Panzer IV tanks here and some grenadier platoons. So we could either go, to paraphrase Led Zepp, there's two paths you can go by here. We can either go the infantry route.
Yep.
By saying, do you know what, I'm going to have an infantry formation.
Yep.
I'll add another platoon. I'll add some mortars. And I think I might add a few more tanks.
Yep.
Or one could say, do you know what, I'm going to forego the infantry. I just want to go armoured. So you then be looking at an armoured formation. And you can do it either by the back of the cards.
Where's that page gone again?
Or...
I should have kept that page open.
Yeah, there we go.
So if,
An armoured, we could either go a Panzer IV force.
So let's pop this. This might be a little difficult for us because we're doing this upside down.
Yeah, but I mean, we can edit, put something on that. So we could either have a Tiger armoured company,
Yeah.
or we've got a Panther armoured company, or one could say, do you know what, I want Panzer IVs or a mixed group of Panzer III or 4, and then we just look at the product.
And you follow this through this
Yeah.
little roadmap if you like.
Yeah, because it's telling you, there's a little code at the bottom that's telling you what box set you need to be looking at.
Right, okay, so when I'm building my force and I want to choose which sort of arm I'm going down, I'd follow this and I can make my shopping list from this.
Yes.
And then that's going to basically give me a legal army.
They're just in here, you'll see the little codings. It'll tell you what...
So I want to make a Panzer mixed tank company. I just grab this entire page.
Yes. I mean, you could either purchase the individual platoon boxes, or we do army deal boxes.
Right.
Where you'll get, which will show you those later, they're a huge box full of extra stuff. So you'll have the two different tank types in there. You'll have some support options.
Yeah.
So by buying that army box, you can now flesh out. So you and a buddy have bought the base box, and then
we've split the armies.
We've split the armies. You then buy an army deal each, and that will then suddenly you've got a rather large force.
Yeah.
That you'll be able to play quite happily against other players that have been playing for a while, because you've got enough points.
Okay.
Because it's all about a point system. Everything is balanced.
Okay, but going back to the starter box then, because obviously this is your first port of call.
Yeah.
I buy this. This is giving me enough to have a good game on what, like a 4x4 table?
Yes.
Yep.
I'd say 4x4 to begin with.
Yep.
The games are normally played at a higher points level on a 6 feet by 4 feet table. But to begin with, kitchen table with a 4 foot square board.
Yep.
I'd say if you're starting out, a lot of us will buy 2 feet by 4 feet boards.
2x4.
So you buy 2x4 boards and lay them out first.
Oh, right, two boards next to each other.
Yeah, next to each other. So that then, when you're then going to move on to a 6 foot table, you buy one extra board and lay them out. You've got a 6x4 board that's easily packed away. We sell mats, which are double-sided mouse mats, 6 feet by 4 feet.
Yep.
That are two-sided.
So
We've got
there's
there's a Russian steppe on one side and a city on the other, which is grey.
Okay.
Or the other one is either sand
Yep.
or generic grass and mud.
So you've got all the battlegrounds.
Already done, so you don't need to buy any grass, you don't need to flock anything, it's just a matter of...
I use battle mats.
Yeah,
and then
battle
terrain
mats are,
on top of...
they're just the way ahead, I think.
They're much easier. Much easier
they
to
are,
store as well because they roll
Yeah.
up. So in terms of that, we've got enough units to play against one another. We've got enough units to do a variety of scenarios, whether it be sort of capture the objective,
Yes.
or you could disadvantage one side by doing a defense style.
Yeah.
But if we were to go heads up, head to head, opposite the board, lots of terrain between us to move around, how long are we looking at taking to play?
To begin with, because we're going to be referring to the cards, we're probably looking at an hour and a half, maybe, hour and a half, 2 hours.
Because we're new,
Because we're new. As we then get quicker.
Yep.
We're probably going to get a good this size, a good game, probably an hour, I reckon.
Cool. So that's good.
Because there's a lot of at this level of game, there's a lot of tactical decision.
Yeah.
It's not just about you line your forces up one side, mine on the other. We're going to hammer for it.
Yeah.
In the back of the rule book, we've got a section of how to set terrain up for a good game.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So.
And these are the scenarios.
So you've got your scenarios in the rule book.
Yeah, we both decide how we're going to play a game, and you can do it randomly with the dice roll if you don't want to pick one that's easy.
I mean, these are okay. So these are labelled with dice rolls. So we grab our dice. Not going to be able to resell this one now. And we've rolled. Oh, look at that perfect roll there.
6.
That roll. I couldn't have thrown that to a better location either. Contact. So that's the.
Yeah.
There you go. That is the scenario that you are now going to be playing.
Which, when you've got more models.
Yep.
If you built the force without knowing what the scenario is, you don't know if you're defending or not. But for 2 new players, you roll the dice, and the scenario brief and the parameters for winning are only like half a page, 2 or 3 paragraphs.
Yeah, they're not
really simple, easy to follow. So you could just put your scenery on the table, put your models out, roll up your scenario, and just get playing.
So all the scenarios in here are going to be playable with these.
Yes.
Might be on a slightly smaller scale.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you have additional books to expand on the game, which will contain more scenarios.
Like the D-Day book, that's got a few scenarios in there because obviously we've got airborne forces, we've got, and they're kind of tailored.
That's an interesting one, the airborne being part of this as well.
Yeah. I mean, we've got rules for dropping airborne troops in if you want to drop them in. We've got rules for like a kind of a glider assault, a coup de main, so that you can put a bridge or an objective to bring those gliders in.
Yeah.
All of these, as we've got a roadmap, so that as the rest of the year progresses, we're now producing more books are coming out, more products are coming out.
Okay.
And once the army deal boxes are out, we then drop in extra. But we've already got the airborne forces, platoon and company boxes.
That's a lot of stuff.
And because you've got with this box, you've got the German 2 platoons of Panzer Grenadiers, and a tank platoon.
Yep.
The Americans have got a Sherman force of Sherman tanks, but there's also on those sprues, there's a lovely little sprue of US airborne. There's a platoon of them.
On here?
On the sprue, you'll see the little, if we have a look at the...
I think it may be this sprue.
Yeah.
It looks like it's this sprue.
Yeah, there we go. That's there's your man with the Thompson.
So, look at that. I know a few people that will be impressed that I could identify that.
I'm very impressed. And there's your little guide, which will tell you which guys that you need to be cutting out for a particular base. It shows you how to put the machine gun team together.
Yeah, this is what I like. I mean, obviously you could put them in different orders if you wanted to. It's your game.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is, it says, like for the Riflemen, it says R, and as we can see, we've got 4 different types of Riflemen here. But it's up to you which Riflemen you put in, because they're all the same.
R next to the Riflemen. So you find them. But
and the same with the Germans. You'll have an N for the NCO. But it's up to you which one you use.
Another little Rifleman by my finger.
Yeah. Because when we're building a larger force, we don't want every platoon to look the same, so we just mix and match. Yeah, you just swap them out.
Put them in different positions. You face them slightly differently.
Because when you get onto buying platoons in boxes or blister packets, the instructions, you'll get a rough guide, but again, you just decide who you're going to put onto what stand. So with this force, supposing you've decided you're going to have the Yanks, and you say, right, well, do you know what, I don't want an armoured force, I would like to do a parachute force.
Right,
We've already got a platoon box and a company box.
Right.
So you've got a company headquarters and the main units for the company. If you want to flesh it out, you just buy more blisters of airborne.
Okay.
Suddenly you've now got an airborne force, because the starting point is in that box.
Yeah. Okay,
whether it's Sherman tanks or airborne.
So let's go back to this box then, right? Let's let's pop all this over here a sec. And what I want to do is just to reinforce what you actually get in this box, and what it is, because there are other starter boxes. Am I right?
Yeah, we've got there's a smaller one which is 5 tanks, 3 American and 2 German, which is called Fury, which is a smaller kind of starting point.
Yeah.
This one is more.
This seems a good size to me. Most people are used to 4x4 and 6x4 tables.
Yeah.
So, and if you're already familiar with war games, then this is probably going to be a good starting point.
Yeah.
Right, so.
I mean, you've got for the Germans. You've not only got those tanks in here.
Yeah.
You've also got some anti-tank guns, which are really, really cool.
That part of it.
That's it. That's the anti-tank gun, and the crew are on the sprues.
Yeah.
I mean, the anti-tank gun, really nice kit, really easy to pop out of the sprue. A couple of minutes of gluing, you're up and running. You've got your gun out, and then you can paint them later on if you want to. But it's everything you need to get a fairly well balanced force. You've got some infantry, you've got some tanks, you've got some anti-tank equipment, all in that one box.
You've got a lot. So this. Hit the beach, obviously that's referring to D-Day.
Yeah.
So the Hit the Beach, the late war box set, is going to get you enough to play. I thought I'd position that really nicely. Enough to play with 2 people, 2 start armies. You're going to get a guide that's going to help you build, and your core rules, which you'd expect. You're going to get an actual proper rule book, which you might not actually expect. You're going to get cards,
all of the unit cards for everything that you've got in that box.
Every single unit card you need. Then, the properly sculpted bases for the miniatures of this size. Obviously, you're going to get your dice. Everyone likes dice.
Yep. And there's an awful lot, and they're colour-coded as well.
Yes. You then... that camera's turning off. It's all right, we'll just do it on the main camera.
Yeah.
You then are going to have, and you're going to have to tell me what each one of these are, but this is obviously...
Right, so that's a V1 rocket.
Yep.
With a ramp. So the ramp's in 3 pieces. We glue the ramp together.
Yep.
That's an objective. So we could put that down on the table somewhere, and that'll count as an objective for one side to capture and the other side to defend.
So your first objective for one of your scenarios.
Yep.
You've got your anti-tank gun.
Yep.
You've got your...
That's your Panzer IV tank.
Panzer IV tank. Another Panzer IV.
And that's, and we've got the side skirts, which are really easy to glue together and fit to the vehicle. And if we flop them over...
Yeah, these are almost easy fit, aren't they?
Now, what we've done here is we've got, straight from the factory, where they're all nicely lined up, we've got the beaten up, smashed, replaced sheets.
So you can build them Russian style.
Russian style, yeah.
If you want.
Some people actually, I've seen them painted where they've got one of those plates, which is a funny angle, that's just painted in red oxide, as if it's just come out of the factory.
I would do mine as a wood panel.
Yeah, a wood panel. Yeah, you can do a wood panel.
We've still got more tanks. So
yeah, we've got more tanks.
3.
That's our 3 German tanks there.
So 3 German Panzer tanks. Then let's go on to the American tanks.
Yep.
You've got your Sherman tank.
Yep, that's a Sherman.
Sherman.
Yep, there's another Sherman.
Another Sherman.
Yep, and we've got both of the the different front types for the tank, depending on what type of Sherman we're building.
Okay. Another Sherman.
Another Sherman.
Another Sherman.
Another Sherman.
Someone come a bit more well prepared.
Yeah. Yep. And these have got, again, they've got the different types of roof machine gun and main gun.
Right.
So we can build, we can build a different type of Sherman if we wish.
Yep. Another Sherman.
So there's variety. There's another one.
Would you like another?
Oh, thank you. Oh, have you got any more?
I've got another one.
Thank you.
Now.
One more wafer thin mint, Mr. Chris. Oh.
And
then we've got some more. These are a different type.
These will let you build them in a different way.
Yeah. So that way, if you want to make your company headquarters tanks look slightly different,
right? So
you can do it. Yeah, with a slightly different Sherman there.
So you get alternate roofings. I'm not sure what the proper term are.
Turrets.
Yeah.
Turrets.
These which should have been in the bag, which I've already passed.
Yep.
And obviously the
infantry, and then that other sprue which you've got there is the vehicle crews.
So people to pop their heads out of the vehicle.
Yeah. I mean, we put those in. It's a way of denoting which is a headquarters tank
Yep.
So if you've got a platoon with 5 tanks in, we tend to leave either turrets open with a little open turret hatch, or we'll pop a little man out of the hatch.
Right, okay.
Just so that quickly on the table we know which ones, because they're quite important.
Cool. And you've got, I really like the quality of the miniatures on this. You've got the sprues with your infantry on.
Yeah.
So that is an awful lot of plastic.
Yeah.
That is an awful lot of infantry. And you could imagine, I mean, just by spreading the bases out, you can see, if I can pick them up, you're going to be really annoyed at me for doing this. I'll put them all back.
Yeah, and everything's there.
Yeah, these are all going to be.
So that's a normal squad base.
Yep.
We've got the little command base, which is why we had the plug, because if you've got a command, you'll have 3 models in it.
Yep.
If not, it'll be plugged with 2. Some other weapon team bases for just 2 models.
That's just your infantry.
That's
your infantry. And then obviously you're going to have tanks. Many Sherman tanks.
Yes.
Taking across the table.
I would say you've probably got, even with 2 of you, you've probably got a good couple of hours of snipping and painting there.
Yeah.
Before you even start to play. So that, which is another aspect of the hobby. It's not just about getting it on the table. It's the collecting it, painting them.
I will be interested to see the basing that people do on these, because of the scale.
Those are the anti-tank guns.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that will be for a very thematic. You can see something very good scenery-wise on that.
Yeah.
Because we're used to seeing basing models that are obviously much larger. Much larger scale.
But again, I mean, one can get a lot of detail with these by putting little bushes on them and some rocks. Because it's all about theming your army, making it unique.
Yeah, but I'm going to enjoy seeing what people put on these bases.
Yes.
I do like seeing the final product.
Yeah, definitely.
That's grand. So, if you are thinking of getting into any of the World War II historicals, and you like the idea of, would you say, mass battles, commanding your tanks, if you like the idea of being a general with your forces and getting quite crunchy with the numbers and the tactics, then have a look at the Hit the Beach sets from the guys at Battlefront.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a thriving community where you, if you're either onto a social media page asking for advice, or you give us a call, or you send us an email at Battlefront, we'll give you pointers. And whether it's a rules query or I'm stuck, where do I go next? We're more than happy to. So it's not you've walked away with a box and now you're stuck slightly.
You're not on your own.
We can put you in touch with other players in your area.
So thriving community.
Yeah, it's an absolute. As you probably see from today, we're all about enjoying the hobby as a group, because we can't play on our own.
Yeah.
And it's all about how the community comes together, helping each other, nurturing the hobby in other ways.
Well, I do know that we have quite a few players at Goblin at the actual store. In our community group, a few people were asking about some of the new releases, so they'll be quite interested in this. So there's a first port of call for anybody who's at Goblin, is the community group that you guys have got set up.
Yes.
And our original players. I tried to stand it up, I really did. I really could do writing it down a little bit. That would be my normal go-to way of doing it.
Yeah, there we go.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I mean, the hobby. This is just this is the beginning. Probably, I think Hit the Beach is probably a really good title, because it's, if you think of that D-Day assault, they got onto the beach. Once they're off, that's the war starts from here. But this is where your hobby starts. On that beach. And it's all about driving it yourself, working out, what do I want to buy next? Do I want to get into tournament play, joining clubs, coming into gaming groups? It all begins with this beach. And once you're up and running, we're more than happy to point you in other directions if you want advice or modelling tips.
You'll be joining us when our studio's finished anyway.
Yes,
so
I'm looking forward to
another opportunity to have a closer look at this.
Yeah.
Outside of this nice and chilled atmosphere today, isn't it?
Maybe even we can get one of these put together
we will.
and get a game on so that
Oh,
we
I can
can
take
show
you
you how to?
Well, I'm going to be getting myself a starter set anyway, so when you come on, perhaps you can take me on.
Yeah, cool.
You can choose the sides. And I'm also going to be stealing one of these amazing churches which I've seen downstairs.
Yes. Yeah.
They look really good. The scenery, some of the scenery is fantastic. And the little objective markers that come for the I'm a sucker for decorating the board.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff we haven't touched on today, which we will look at, the objective markers, the crashed planes, the little officer squad cards, and
there are guys out there that just love churning up every time you see them. They've got. I'll have a look at my new objective marker.
Yeah.
They'll cut bits of tank up and or bits of aircraft, dig it into the ground. And that's because you've spent a lot of time collecting the models and painting them. You want a really cool looking table. And we've got the other part of the company, Gale Force 9. We produce resin pre-painted out of the box terrain. Battlefield on a box. That's the range, so that you don't have to spend. We paint the scenery, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Basically, you just get it out of the box and it is ready to go. They do take weathering if you want to make them look a bit dirty or put some flocking around, but you can put it on the table out of the box, allowing you to spend more time painting the models and collecting the army.
Yeah, which is great. And, they've already destroyed the church for you, so you let them have the fun of smashing
The rumour, I don't know whether it's true, there's a rumour that one of the guys in New Zealand had got an existing church, took a hammer to it and said that let's just make a mould. I don't know if it's true, but
maybe.
It worked. It looks really cool. I like the little spire that's come off of the
I need to have a proper
top.
look at it. I've had a look at it.
We'll get a picture for you so you can have a look. But yeah,
it's fab. So hit the beach box. Ridiculously affordable. I have to throw that in there.
Yeah, we worked out. I think we're selling it at a quarter of the price of the components that are in there.
Yeah.
Or the value, rather.
But that's grand. To be honest, I don't think we've got much else to show there. That's enough to at least wet your palate.
Yeah.
We'll be getting Freddie up. Sorry, let's get your name right.
Freddie. Yeah.
It is Freddie. I must have had an 80s theme in my head then. I was thinking Frankie. Because we're allowed to go relax now, you see.
yeah, relax. Freddie says relax.
Freddie says relax. The bar's open downstairs.
Yeah.
So we're going to chill out for a little bit now, and we'll be getting Freddie up to the Goblin HQ to really look at this way of building the armies, and we're going to have a little supermarket sweep dash around the waves.
Yes,
and, have fun there.
That would be quite cool, actually. Maybe some of your guys could post comments about where they think to go next, and we'll zip round, grab the gear, get it to
direct them on live stream. That's not going to end well. Last time I let them direct our live stream, they chose our music.
We could do it blindfold. One person pushing the trolley and the other one grabbing.
Do you remember the old TV shows where you'd phone up and you'd say, well, do you remember Nightmare? Right.
Yeah. I love Nightmare.
Pick up the loaf of bread.
Yeah. As you go past. Yeah, maybe we could get Dale Winton to host it. He was the supermarket dude. Yeah.
I think he's still alive as well.
Is he?
I think he is.
Yeah, Dale. If Dale watches or anyone knows him, get him to.
We'll sort you out with a free church.
Yes.
A model one, not an actual.
Not an actual one because I'm not good at bricklaying. So.
No, I don't have the time. I've only just got enough time to build these.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's probably a good place to. So thanks very much, right?
Yeah, thanks.
Look forward to speaking to you again soon, and we're going to go relax down and check out what's going on in the rest of the it's a convention centre.
Yeah.
The rest of the little mini expo we've got going on.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.